the sun?
No, it was raining.
Fuck. We're now in drought. Across the like rain now is maybe in September again, you know?
It was raining yesterday. In the afternoon, it was a bit sunny. Then it started raining again toward the night. Now it's cloudy. Okay.
You see, that's why Portugal calls this district north. That's really north.
Yeah.
Well,
Fine enough.
I guess it's all solvable. I was reading so the world is changing, right? And it's like you have to change your habits. Like sometimes you know things are coming, changing, right? But your habits actually block you from solving it. Look at the case with CO2, exhaust and all of that. Our habits are to go by car. Our habits are to make money with oil investments and gas investments, and we want to keep it that way, right? Like many. And then, a solution, or our habits are we want to keep eating a lot of meat, right? So it's the habits. I mean, that's the big picture on what you see with Earth. But in my opinion, that's also a thing that we see with us. We learn, like we have our lessons learned, right? We know what values are. We want to go somewhere or be at a certain level with our values. But I think the blockers in life are often are the conditions around us we can't change. It's how we interact with people. Maybe we keep drinking alcohol when we know we shouldn't. So it's like we're in a collective but individual process to change, right? To acknowledge that if we change, we can also fix certain things and go somewhere. But often the change is so hard. Yeah. So I want to share some stories in the past that I am related to this. I wanted to I have seen organizations where people are kind of complacent about things happening. They're not happy about it. Maybe they complained about it before, but they stopped. And then they just accept it, right? But they're not happy about it. But because some patterns, habits, stupid managers, so they just accept what is the case. Now, acceptance can be one of the solutions is to accept things as they are. I do understand it, but I think whenever you work somewhere, right? I think one of the values, for instance, could be like always inspiring, to build great relationships with the customers, being satisfied, or attaining customer satisfaction. But then you have to keep pushing it, right? And I think that's a continuous return of it. Like, do we have enough energy to push against the things, the people, our habits that actually make life more challenging for us? With work the same, right? Like I think, Nirav, you've been in an environment that you were working in an environment that were not according to your values, right? Like, how did you feel? Maybe you want to share something about the fights or not fighting against it or being quiet about it.
It was too hard for me because sometimes people in higher authority than us may not be realizing that what is the current issue having in the office. So maybe they are not seeing the issue as a issue. But when I told to them, then they say, okay, I will do it. Then they are keep forgetting this all the things. They are ignoring this all the things, overlooking this all the issues they are having because maybe they are getting high salary, high package, so they don't care even. Sometimes they want a little pressure from above upper side to get started. This all thing to solve this all the things. So sometimes they don't realize that this issue we have is a correct, good, problematic issue.
So, but how did it reflect on yourself? Like, how did you, if I go through that phase, I remember at first you were just doing your thing and you saw things happening. You were like you were letting you were getting adjusted to the to the new work environment, right? But somewhere your frustration also grew, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Towards the others because they were doing this, they were doing that, and there was a phase where you didn't say anything about, but then you started to say anything about. So if you look at that, like if you come into a similar situation again, right, when the work environment are not aligning with our values or the way we care, the way we work, how would you know would you try to do it differently next time, or would you suffer it again?
No, it's mm, yeah, I would do differently if I work for this different company, new company. So first of all, I will set my boundaries with each of the persons, my teammates, and with my CEO and everyone. Because currently, where I was there with them, so the relation between CEO and this all the other members. So I'm not seeing any boundary between them. So at least the CEO should have some boundaries so that they can instruct this all the peoples below them, below level to them, to give some work, to give some instruction direction, but they are not listening. So at least maybe my next visit to new company, I will have first of this is the first thing I will do to set my boundaries with all the persons, with CEO and with my co-members, co-workers, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have. I mean, it's a nice thing to become friendly with all the persons, but you should have some at least some boundary so that you can give them some orders for work.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Uh,
I have also become too much friendly with them, so sometimes they won't listen to me. They think like, oh, it's Nirav, it's like our friend. It's okay. Let's postpone his orders. Whatever work I have given to them, they will postpone.
yeah, this is where I think this is a big challenge. I mean, I call it blockers in life, maybe, and I think maybe that's true. It's trouble, necessity. Yeah, I think definitely work can be a big blocker in life. Andre, do you recognize this? Like in the times that you worked with, you worked in many environments, right? Where things were just not as you want them to be. Like for instance, take the time that you were a McDonald's manager. Um, I guess as a manager at McDonald's, you have to be in control, right? You cannot let team members slack. You cannot let them not follow procedures, to keep the quality of the product. Maybe you can say like how maybe you can share cases where you felt something were not right, and but you did or did not act to fix it in your work environment?
Actually, like when I worked in McDonald's, for me it was okay because human beings can understand what they can do only when the situation already come. You understand what I mean? That's why some engineers or IT or hairdressers, when they come in military, they becoming to be good soldiers or officers, because life shows that they can do organized, they can organize things and do things very well. That's why when I find myself in McDonald's, it was everything okay. I can manage this big group of the people. 50 people per shift, no problem for me. Even when it's more, it's better because you can delegate, you can manage all the things. But it's outside. But inside, for me, it was like I had this McDonald's, like a military system. It's not interesting for me, you know? And when I stopped working in McDonald's and started to work as a taxi driver, my mother stopped talking with me in 6 months. And all my friends tell that I'm really stupid, you know. But you understand me because it was not exactly my. And now, as a psychologist, I have a client. She's a girl from Donbass, from Donetsk village. She is from alcoholic family, but she is very very smart. She graduated medical university and now she's working as a supervisor of a network of drugstores. It's like maybe 8, about 10, and she make good salary, yeah, but she wants to be a pastry. Can you imagine? So she's a boss in pharmacies, but she wants to be a pastry. And finally, we worked maybe 3 4 months, and finally she decided, she signed off contract, and she decided go to pastry. For also for I and she tell me, what do you think? Should I tell my mother? I tell no. Believe me, you cannot. You're not allowed to tell to your mother because she will be very angry. Because from social side, it's very strict. And the main things what I would tell you, it's about acceptance, because what you start to, so acceptance, I agree with you 100%. That's a magic way to be happy. You don't need to like this. You don't need to like if big bad guy kick you, yeah, and or monkey wants to fuck you, yeah. 100 kilo of monkey wants fuck you. She escaped from zoo. You don't need to like this, yeah. But what you can do, because she's more than 100 kilo, she have very big power. This monkey, what you can do? Okay, I joke, you know, but so acceptance, it's a magic way to be happy, and it's so many books about concentration camps, or when people was in really so difficult situations, they survive. And what I see now around Ukrainians, like I spoke yesterday also with the man. He lives in America. In America, he's Ukrainian. He suffered everything bad, everything. So he was a businessman. Now he is Uber driver. Of course, it's jumps downstairs, but only acceptance can help him. Can help him. So, mm, my opinion, like that.
Yeah. So let me recap what you said, right? Like, okay, we can be better at it in a certain work environment if the procedures, the process, the training are good, right? Like the military or McDonald's, right? Because everything is clear, you know the right example because you're being evaluated against clear rules, and everyone is pushed to do it. But eventually it might not be you. Even if you are paid well, it might not be you, and you might still uh, um, find another place where that aligns better with who we are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like, can you maybe like, were there environments where you did confront yourself like, no, I want to try to change this, and you were somehow fighting others or convincing others, or eventually, accepting is the last one, but have you ever had that talk with yourself like, no, I have to change this, or I have to, uh, give more proposals, show a better way? Or did you usually say, no, this is too big, this beast is too big, the management is too stubborn, I'm not going to fight this?
My life it's so experienced, of course. I don't know how many years it was, but maybe 25, maybe 25, maybe. I worked as a director of nightclub. Maybe you remember in Svetoshina. It's a very big, huge nightclub, one of the biggest in Kyiv. So I work as a as director assistant of this nightclub. Not from newspaper, not from advertisement, was from friends to friends, because this kind of things, they never take somebody from the street. And it was really stupid. It's like, like in America, it calls that sleepy back road. Like nothing changed, everybody slowly, it's a bad smells, and so really like, and compare in competition with other clubs, it doesn't work good. I'm trying to do rush time, so after 2 months, I'm really tired. And everybody becoming hate me. But it was few owners, and one of owner of this club, he was my friend, and he told me, man, you need to push situation. We will push away everybody. You will be main boss here. I give you a lot of money. You will be like a chocolate, And now I would say that he's
Sorry, I don't
using.
know. What does it mean, like a chocolate?
So you will have a good life.
Okay.
You will have enough money. Now I understand that he used me to push little bit other people. So he believe in me, I agree, but to use my skills in this way to push people. Yeah. And I remember that after a few months, in one day, I'm tired, and I decided to stop this. And because I understood that it's no matter, I'm alone, and I'm just do nothing, just play, drink coffee, just look around, receive one salary, and tell them goodbye. Yeah, something like that. Because to change system, it's a nightclub with a 300 people staff. And when you come alone, you cannot. It's exactly no possible. Really, now I would say it's no possible. System must be changed, or at least must come team, boss with team. 5 people, 5 it's enough, but not one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wasting time, energy, but it's good experience. Now I know that I can fight alone in big nightclub. Not now, I'm old, but before.
Robin, what are your experiences when it comes to work environment not aligning with your values? I know that you've had some challenges yourself. I mean, even now, I sometimes sense some frustration towards one of the teams that we're working with. Let's not try to name the context that we're working with now, right? That's unless you in Andrei's case, it's McDonald's is big, it's long in the past, right? But what are your experiences on this?
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, when you try to explain something to someone, they don't have enough ability to understand how serious a matter can be, and they just go with the flow that they are used to. They don't change their patterns for the good, and they keep on doing things, and in the long run, it just adversely affects the goals of the company. But yeah, it's mainly it's frustration when people don't understand you and they don't align with your own values. I guess that's one of the things I guess the company should focus. I mean, companies are focusing on when they hire people, right? Like, what are your values? Do they align with the company or not? If they have a perfect
Not
match,
all
then
companies do, right? Not all.
not
companies.
all, but they do try to. Like the good ones, at least try to, right? And if they align with the people they work with, then it's like a harmonious environment, and then everyone can just work towards the same goal and achieve things more efficiently, I would say. But when you have people who are not experienced, who don't have the ability to think through, like critical thinking, whether this is good or bad, or should this step be taken? Isn't it like against humanitarian values or things like that? So yeah, I mean, if those kind of people end up working with you, then it is hard to do things and achieve things. Yeah.
So
Muted, huh?
when you reflect on maybe one or other scenario, not scenario, but cases in your past, how do your own patterns, how do you, or have you reflected on your own patterns? Do you see things a bit different now? Like, hey, I know that was my pattern, I know this is my pattern, but I don't try to change.
My patterns have changed quite a bit in the past few years. Like, just in the past couple of months, actually, like a lot has changed. The way I think things through, I don't jump to conclusions, I don't jump to goals. Rather, it's better to work on the next step rather than thinking about the last step. So those kind of things, I would say. Yeah, because I tend to get excited when thinking about things. Oh, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. But yeah, the more and more that I work with different teams in the last couple of months, and also like mentorship from you, I realized that okay, always thinking about the result is not good per se, but you should focus more on immediate steps and see how it can like pave the way towards the goal.
But in the case, I'm trying to get you to talk more about specific experience that I know you had. So I'm going to try to ask a more specific.
Okay.
I think one of your patterns was like, if you're frustrated, you're going to run away, right?
That is one of the key things that I've realized this year so far. Is whenever I encounter a problem, mostly personal, I try to escape it by chasing distractions. And this time for me, the distractions was social meetups. And I realized that it was taking a huge toll on my work, my personal life, my mental health. And I was just running away from things rather than, facing the problem at hand and finding a solution for it.
Wow, that's
I
actually,
did.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
So I did, however, find my own way to get the solutions. And it is working quite positively, I can say. Yeah.
I think that's a
Lessons learned.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if we actually have lessons learned. We do, of course, but this is a very meaningful one, right? Like don't run away from your problems, confront them.
No. Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
We have to take many experience in our life, so our mind can understand. So in future, it will cope up with future problems and all the troubles. And our mind is a good one. God has provided us. So it can learn very fastly. So in future, if we have some trouble, then its cope up mechanism will help us.
Yeah. it's like I have been through this kind of phase multiple times in like the past decade, but I have never faced it head on and never worked on it actually. So the patterns kept repeating, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, like after knowing how I can work through this, how I can find the solutions for me, it wouldn't be the same thing for everyone because it's quite esoterical. Is that the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, I figured it out how to work on myself. What's the best way to face my problems actually and find the solution. And yeah, I mean, similar instances have occurred. I wouldn't go into the details, but instances have occurred in recent weeks. But now my mind is more cognizant of the things that are happening. So it's my mind has actually understood, like, okay, hey, remember this thing happened. So this might end up like this. So be careful. Don't fall into this trap. Don't fall into that trap. Don't assume things. Those kind of things, you know. So training your brain to actually recognize the pattern is also a thing. And once you learn how to do that, it gets easier.
Yeah. And it's too much, very hard. So currently, I'm training my brain. So when I was in Kerala, I was training my brain to do not take more medicines. When I was frustrated and having this depression, so I'm still in the
One
phase of learning.
Hmm.
one of the things I would say when it comes to brain, it is best to exercise things that can affect your brain positively.
Yeah, that will
One of
give
the
us
things I can
dopamine.
recommend is meditation. You know, like even meditation can work like wonders. When we say that we have to figure out, we have to train our brain, we actually don't do it. We just think about the problems. That's not how to do it.
That's true.
So meditation is one of the keys. But yeah, breaking patterns, it requires more energy than just thinking about problems.
Right. But this meditation, I don't know if I can able to do this or not because it requires too much concentration and quiet place. So I cannot sit at quiet place for longer hours.
I definitely agree that meditation is a where is that? Experiences, values. I'm not sure. Well,
Necessity in life, maybe that's to train your brain. It's a meditation, right? You need meditation.
peace in life.
Yeah.
Right. So meditation helps to find calmness, peace, helps to think things through. Yeah. So
Well, I'd like to add one more thing. Like, so when it comes to meditation, okay, we think of the conventional way, right? Like to sit in a place, silent, and just focus on things. So for me, like part of the meditation is I have a notebook where I have written down the things that have happened, the things that I want to improve. And I learned this actually from Andre. Andre usually sits at the kitchen table. He lights a candle and drinks his coffee for an hour. So I learned this from Andre. So I light a candle. I have my notebook where I can write things down, things from the past, things that I have to learn. I have my cup of tea, a bit of snack, and I just focus on the things that have happened. Okay, keep reminding the brain of the pattern, so it can be like, oh, okay. Whenever something happens, you can be like, oh, okay, that was a thing. So that you just have to find your own way of working things out. That's what I'm saying.
So I think I started to be in contact with meditation from Buddhism when I was a teenager. About this, it's a lot focus on your breathing, right? And just letting thoughts pass through, looking at them. And I remember that, but I connected meditation also to appreciation of what you have, right? It's also part of Buddhism, right? Like appreciate what you have. So, and I remember the monks' lessons like, hey, wonders are around you. Life is a wonder. A growing plant, a flourishing flower, a blossoming flower. Those are wonders if you're willing to see them. And if you can see them, and if you can feel that they're actually a wonder, then actually you can achieve the calmness. Like, because then you can actually understand that you have reason to be happy for, because you're part of this wonder, which is called life, right? It keeps on happening. A bad experience and a feeling bad, I know it sucks, but it's actually also a wonder, right? That we can be in touch with such a bad feeling and learn from it and do all kinds of things with it, right? Um, so nowadays, I think I need to do it more consistently longer, but I personally can find that blissful moment within a few breathings. Within a few breaths, I can get there, and I can stay there for some minutes, and then I leave it. But for me, that's like a moment to find a bit of peace. And I trained during when I was studying. I had to well, I used the public transport a lot, and that's why I practiced it. You know, and so I would try to find a peace while waiting on a platform for a train, or in a bus. But I would practice it there. Um, but I definitely think that facing it. I think in life we need many cycles before we kind of break it. Even I, despite of having the same amount of experience levels as Andre, I find myself running into patterns, right? And then it kind of not forces me, but tells me like, hey man, try harder, or recognize the patterns better next time, because they will come back. It's like it's a continuous thing that keeps coming back. And that's why I wrote here is like you so learn what you self do, look into yourself, right? What is it that triggers certain thing, but also learn to recognize the conditions, the triggers. And if you can somehow, so you have to face it and trying to understand it, and then hopefully, accept it, and then hopefully you can put some energy to change these two, right? Like, oh, you're seeing some conditionings happening, and either avoid those conditions or prevent them from happening before they happen, right? And then also, like, what is my role? Why? It's because I'm getting into this again. It's because of my own pattern, right? And that's where you can try to put energy into controlling some of your own behaviors and such. um, and for me, actually, if I like, I think nowadays many of us are stuck because of this. Where is it? uh, of this, of the money. We stay there because of the money. We do the work because of the money, the need. Yeah, the money, right? We need. That's why we think like, I cannot leave this job. Correct. um so but I think, look at Andre. He's actually in a place where he accepts that he doesn't want to lose his peace, right, Andre? and you won't just take any job. You want to have work that fits with you, right? And that's, I think, wisdom. Like, adapt your whatever you have to spend, but choosing for your own peace, right? Rather than to jump into some shitty environment, work environment, life environment, I don't care, but or in this case, it might not even be money, but hey, the pressure that comes from family, being forced to get married and have children, right? Or choosing to say, screw it, I'm not going to give into that pressure, right? Money is a pressure, family pressure, right? But I'm going to keep my peace. I'm going to choose for my peace. That, I think, if you can say sometimes no and eat the shit that comes along with it and accept it, but having the experience that you protected your peace, I think is a valuable one. Like, if I mean, we're now in the student recruitment business. And well, last year I felt really fucked up, right? The environment was so against my values, all this lying, false promising, and because I really had the intentions to go in and do a good thing for students, right? But I kind of accepted that, wow, to work in the Indian environment is crazy. Like, it seems like everyone is lying, making false promises. So I understood that it's part of it, but it went so much against my own values that I just had to jump. I just had to jump away. And despite of that, all of that, we're trying to do better without lying this time. And I believe that whether you earn a lot of money or not, choosing for your values, for your own peace, is eventually the thing that keeps you happier, right? Like, I know many friends, and coming from the IT, a lot of people in IT are working to make people become more addicted to the phone, right? Or addicted to click buy, even if that buy is just something virtual. I mean, so, and we all are in there, but we're there because we're choosing the money, right? Addiction is not cool, but yet most of IT people, software people, gaming people are all about getting more money through addiction, right? YouTube, Facebook, all of that is about keeping the attention of your user so that we can serve them more ads, right? In essence, that's not a great practice, is it? It's not. But we all, not we all, well, most of us are involved into that world, right? Either we give it or we're trying to get it, right? We're in it's like, now, Robin, you might tell me that this is a wrong example, right? But in the past, Catholicism, or Andre, you might tell me, had this whole system like, buy your way out of your sin, right? They made people fear for sins and punishment. So if you buy something, or you would whatever, even if you would give sex to your priest, somehow you could buy your way out of it because that was the word of God, right? But if you look at it, it's the same. It's a system, right? To take from people what they earned, people who don't have much, and either you were part of that system to give it or to take from it, right? So I think that's also a bigger pattern in humanity. Like we come up with these systems. We do. And we get people to work in it. And I think Andre is the one who's most escaped from it and is trying to stay away from it. But Rob and Nirav, me, we're still in it. We're still in it. So just saying, these patterns are everywhere on very many different levels. Also on the collective human level. That's there. All right. So that's about, work environments. Does anyone have something else this week that you actually want to, share or talk about that is blocking you or inspiring you or?
I actually am planning to go for camping this weekend, Friday through Sunday. And one of the things that I usually do is I don't turn on my phone while camping. So 3 days of no phone, no screen time at all. Plus this time, so I'm going with a friend, and this time we are planning to do like 1 day of absolute silence, no talking whatsoever. So yeah.
So in that aspect, I see that, you're catching up in life and you're trying to learn lessons fast, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, keeping our minds to ourselves is one of those things that we can practice continuously, right? And this is one of the things I notice in you. You easily allow your minds to go into like, that can be cool, or that can, where I'm like, yeah, that's not okay. No, I've got my own stuff to think about and not get distracted. But yet, I think silence. I'm not saying therapy, and it's a practice that, there are people who practice it for days, right? And then you just confronted to just think about yourself.
Yeah.
And
So that is my pattern that I want to break, because I tend to like just blurt out the things that come to my mind. I need to hold back. Yeah, that's what I'm learning now. So, yeah.
but it's not just you; it's a lot. I must say that my wife all does it all the time. I'm not really trying to keep it away. Like, oh no, I don't want to get into it. But we all do it. We all do it in some way or the other. I remember when I was 20 or something, I would blurt out everything easy. But now that I think it, I roll it in my head like, okay, if I'm going to say this, I'm rolling it in my head minutes before I decide to, say it or not, even sometimes. But that's a practice. Some people just roll it in their head too much, and some people just blurt it out too much. It's a practice to find the balance, right? I think Nirav is a guy who, at the beginning especially, he can keep it inside of his head for long, long, long. I think now I'm just seeing Nirav speak a bit. Not now, but in the past months, he's grown for sure, right? But yeah, we all have our balance to find. Like Andre, I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. No, guys, we are really very talk about right things, because truly what I see, I can observe Ukrainians from the old world, from North Cape, like in Norway. It's 15 millions almost escaped from Ukraine to Australia, but shit side of Australia, not Melbourne. This part, it's also firm. And Ukrainians work on the fields, yeah. And I would say that now life is totally changing, and we as a human beings, we need to find something else. We need to find another way to life, because these habits like to push button to buy doesn't help anymore, because it's just a cycle. You are suffer, you are in bed, you receive your salary, you push button, you spend 70% of your salary. You're okay one day. This day when you're buying, you're okay. Next day, you're again in frustration and you need to survive. You need to economy money because next salary after 1 month. That's really the cycle. And many companies are like, advertisement of Coca-Cola. Buy Coca-Cola, it's happiness around you. In Ukrainian, it sounds just funny, but in English, it's like that. And really, if you buy Coca-Cola, you can drink Coca-Cola in 5 minutes, you're okay. But in 1 hour, you're again in shit. And we'll see what's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and to show you, I mean, to give another case where it happens continuously. My kids are in that phase of they're now capable of going to the McDonald's themselves, right? And I know that they know that too much of it is not good. It is junk food, but their craving is still there, right? They still feel like, oh, it's still something nice, a French fry, nuggets. Again, nutrients wise, there's no vitamins there, right? Like there are no vitamins there. But so I find myself being the parent trying to stop it and trying to repeat to them like, no, don't do it, right? And then recently I told my wife, you know what, and my kids, I'm going to let you do it. But each time you pay for it yourself, you're gonna find, you're gonna feel how expensive it is, and you're gonna see how fat you become, or you're gonna see like all of that. I wish you to experience it as early as you can, so that hopefully they'll like, oh, I'm sick and tired of this, But because we do eat healthy food, my kids love healthy food as well. So it's not that they don't know healthy food, but it's that marketing, right? Is that marketing that is those billboards, the juicy burger that is not so juicy when you get there, but it's all of that. Like why? So India was a big challenge for me when it came to my values, right? Easily lying and stuff. But the West, we do it the same. Those billboards, those burgers, they look way more juicy than they in real life are. Because if you took a normal picture of a normal hamburger, I wouldn't go. So, see, it happens throughout our life. And so I think my addition here is I decided to tell my kids, start early. I want you to make your mistakes. I want you to waste your money and see like, shit, is this worth it? Okay. All right. So I think that was a good.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
one more topic before we close. I want to talk about coffee.
Coffee.
So,
wow. All right.
Yeah. So over the past few weeks, like a couple of weeks ago, we got a new espresso machine. A bunch of coffee at home now. So
beans or
the pods, Nespresso. Yeah. So in India, I never drank coffee. The coffee I occasionally, like once a month or something, I got was like Nescafe, the instant mix or whatever. And after 30 years, after coming here and tasting the coffee, I'm like, oh my God, this is so delicious. Okay, let's start drinking coffee. In the beginning, it was like, okay, one cafe after lunch, it was a good thing. It will keep you going. You won't feel tired after having a good lunch, and you can work and whatnot. But after having the coffee machine at home, my coffee intake went up from 1 coffee per day to like 2 coffee in the morning, 2 coffee in the afternoon. So I was having like 4 coffee in a day. So yesterday, instead I was like, okay, let's not drink coffee today and see what happens. Half of the day I was crashed, like from morning reaching the office in the afternoon until I had lunch, I was like dying, like proper dying.
Withdrawal
Part of
symptoms.
Yeah, could be. So part of it was obviously hunger. I didn't have any breakfast that day, but also coffee. And after having lunch and coffee, I'm like, okay, coffee is a problem. So now today I didn't have any coffee again, and now I'm like, okay, I need to reduce coffee intake. My body is getting more and more dependent on caffeine, so it's not a good thing. So yeah, another, what can we say? Lessons learned.
Yeah, addiction. It's an addiction,
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
So and I
You
think
don't realize it when you're drinking, but when you stop drinking, that's when you realize, oh shit, your body needs coffee.
oh, it's here. See,
Yeah.
coffee.
So just yesterday, I have watched one reel. So some guy explaining on Joe Rogan. Robin, there's the name. I forgot that channel.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. So that another guy is explaining that if you stop drinking coffee at minimum for 3 months, then after 3 months, if you drink the same coffee, same quantity again, then you will feel like, oh, I mean, your body will flooded with dopamine. So, and you will feel like you will be on cloud nine. So it's you will become high.
I'm actually have already started working on that. So no more coffee. Yeah.
Well, I think there's all kinds of marketing about coffee being good, or some even saying that coffee is not so good.
It's a drug. Yeah.
But I think it's the same. Like it comes down to, can you avoid becoming addicted? But I want to add something here. The Nespresso machine and those
Pepsi, Pods, whatever. Yeah.
capsules, right? They're not that cheap as well.
So we got a deal because one of my friend, he is ambassador of Nespresso, and he got us the machine for free and the pods on a discount.
That's the way.
And me and Roman, the other housemate, we decided to split it, the cost. Yeah, that's how it happened.
That's what. Oh, that's how. Because one of the things that I started to control, like to as part of not spending more than you have, was stop spending on going to the cafe, for a coffee. I mean, I still do sometimes, but it's a lot less than I usually do. But for me, nowadays I have two coffees. One, not to wake up, not at all. But one around 9 or 10. But then I'm already awake for 2.5, 3 hours, just to enjoy it. So I drink it to enjoy. And then one after lunch, because the lunch, that's where actually I need it, because the dip comes, and I need something to just, and then the coffee is a. But I also have found, well, I'm not saying happiness, but acceptance that just the easiest form of coffee, meaning the pot with, it's not with the beans, right? But it's those crumbs. It's not the sachets that come with sugar.
That's what Andre likes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what, the sachets? No, it's not the sachets.
No. It's like the ground coffee. You put it in the machine and it drips, right? That one, right?
No. Well, no, I don't even do that. For me, that takes too long. So I take the soluble.
Like the instant mix. You just put it in water and
But without sugar or something, pure coffee. That's it.
Yeah.
And if I count how cheap that is, it's awesome. Like that is so cheap. It's like I think you'll come to what, maybe 10 cents per cup if you do it like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So the Nespresso pods are like 40 cents, and the cafe here and the cafe is like 80 cents. That's
Yeah.
already half. And if you do it like that, so
Exactly. But if you know, and I found myself quite content with the 10 cents cup. It's
Yeah.
still better than like in India. Good coffee was so expensive.
it was like 4 euros, 2 or 3 euros, I think.
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
euros.
I don't-
So I was like,
yeah, yeah.
that was too expensive. But so having that soluble, version is fine enough for me. We do have an espresso machine now, but I told my wife I'm not going to use it. I might use it when friends come. Then we'll have some capsules and they can use it, but I don't need to. So that's what I mean with, can we control it, right? Like, oh, Nespresso. First of all, it's a brand, right? It's not per se an very expensive brand, but it's also not a cheap brand, right? So you're paying for the marketing. You're paying for, correct? So and those kind of things, if we find ways to escape them, they give back a bit of freedom if you can, right? And I think keeping your freedom is the essence of keeping your peace. That's what I think. For coffee. Yeah. All right, guys. That was a good session. Thank you. And see you all next week.